Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Barnett. I'm SVP of Sales for Pegasus Technology Solutions, and I'll be your host and moderator on behalf of Pegasus and our two great partners that are joining us today, LogicMonitor and Armor. I'd like to welcome everyone to this morning's webinar, better known as Pegasus Cloud Coffee Break. And today's discussion is going to be around cloud monitoring and security. So to get started, we have a few housekeeping items. First, as we go through the presentations, you may have some questions. If you do, there is a Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. If you just click on that, you can ask any questions that you may have, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentations. So at the end, we'll have a Q&A section, and I'll read through any questions that have been asked, and we'll allow Pegasus or LogicMonitor or Armor to answer those questions. Also, so this is a coffee break, and yes, there will be coffee. We will be sending out coffee subscriptions at the end of this month, which is after the 3 webinars. So at the end of the month, you will be receiving the coffee subscription. That's some good coffee too. I think you guys will enjoy it. So to get started, we're going to do an intro for Pegasus, and we'll just talk a little bit about our cloud offerings and what we do in the cloud. And then we'll hear from LogicMonitor and their cloud and hybrid cloud monitoring solutions. And then we'll have Armor talk about their Armor Anywhere product and their cloud security solutions. Just get started, Pegasus, I think some of you know us, but some of you don't. So we're a technology solutions provider headquartered in Frisco, Texas. And our mission statement is that we value people and emphasize relationships while solving business challenges through technology. What that means is we're definitely a relationship-driven company, and we know that by working with people and getting to know our customers really, really well, we're going to do the best job possible at solving any business challenges that our customers may have. And one of the challenges that's facing all the companies that we work with today is whether or not they should leverage the potential cost savings and the agility that's offered by the public cloud. And really, it's becoming even more top of mind this year with operational and financial challenges brought on by a global pandemic, as everyone on this call knows. So today's companies that we work with, they're either considering a move to the cloud, you're already in process of migrating to the cloud, or have already migrated large parts of your infrastructure to the cloud, and you want to optimize what's there, and you want to govern it. And that's one of the biggest challenges. And none of this is easy. Many companies just find migrating to the cloud to be challenging enough. But then you hear stories of companies that are expecting cost savings, they move to the cloud, and then they get buried in costs that are unforeseen, like egress charges or cloud sprawl caused by just a lack of governance, no ability to control that. Just takes a credit card and an Azure account, right? It's pretty easy to do. So, but all of this is what Pegasus can help with today. In addition, we can manage and secure everything once you're there. So we have all the tools in place to do that. And we leverage tools like LogicMonitor. So LogicMonitor is going to be first up here to talk about their cloud offerings. But today, Pegasus uses LogicMonitor within our managed services business, and everything that we do to monitor and manage our managed services customers is done with the help of the great tools and assets from LogicMonitor. So that's just it, just a brief discussion of Pegasus. We're here to help. We've got a ton of experience in cloud. We're a Microsoft Gold partner today. We can help you migrate to the cloud. We can help you, manage it, whether it's just your traditional VM environment or whether you're looking for a serverless environment. We can manage any of it, and we can help you provision and resource that as well. So, and then also optimize what you have up there and make sure that your spend is under control. But today with LogicMonitor, we have Ben Cole. He's a senior account executive for managed services providers, and he'll talk today about LogicMonitor and how they help companies manage and monitor cloud and hybrid cloud. Ben? Ben, you might be on mute. I think we saw your presentation there for a second, Ben.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sure you can hear me now.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks, Ben.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Steve, and good morning, everybody. Yes, as Steve mentioned, I'm Ben Cole. I'm the Senior Account Executive here at LogicMonitor. I'll be presenting alongside Dondi Aponte, our team lead for the sales engineers. So just to start off with a quick 2-3 minutes of who LogicMonitor is and what we do, and then I'll be handing to Dondi to actually show you the solution and how we use it to help serve our customers. So LogicMonitor is one of the fastest growing infrastructure performance monitoring solutions in the world. As Steve alluded to, our sweet spot is helping companies manage and monitor a hybrid cloud or multi-cloud environments and helping go wherever your business takes you. So at this point, we're about 2,200 customers. We're 9 global offices, about 600 employees, and 75. I think that's actually closer to 85,000 users at this point. I've been around 12 years, so well established in the space, and helping lead the frontier on what infrastructure monitoring needs to be, and helping companies move from reactive kind of break-fix monitoring to a proactive solutioning. So what do we do, or how do we provide value? We make sure that those everyday problems that you probably hear around your office don't occur in the first place. So, just the basic stuff like, hey, I can't get into my account. Billing service is down, so can't pay bills or can't receive bills. Really, any type of business motion that's impacted by maybe some sort of performance issue in your infrastructure stack. As you know, IT is the backbone to your business today. So we make sure that we have proactive methods to understand what's going on and identify the issue before it even becomes an issue. Or if something happens or is impacting the system, we can quickly analyze where it is across the complex areas of your cloud stack or maybe hybrid stack, and come to a resolution really quickly so that you can get those systems online or keep them humming so there is never ever any break in service. So that's the high level intro, and then I'll pass it here to Dondi to dive a little deeper into architecturally what that looks like and show you exactly how we're doing that for your companies.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Mic seems like it's working on my side. So as Ben was mentioning, LogicMonitor is a premier hybrid monitoring solution. We are designed to cover everything throughout the stack, which is going to include things that are going to be on-prem and things that are going to be into the cloud. Now, our forward-looking vision for what small to medium enterprises and even large enterprises are going to look like in the future is that the majority of them are going to have some sort of hybrid infrastructure. That means that companies that have traditionally just been on-prem, maybe with Exchange, maybe managing VMs on-prem, are going to be relocating those devices into public cloud like Microsoft Azure. So LogicMonitor's platform is designed to monitor Azure in depth. Now, we leverage the APIs that are going to be available from Microsoft Azure, but we also use things that are going to be specific to us, that being the LogicMonitor collector. Collectors are these small, lightweight software packages. It's a set of services that will live on infrastructure. Now, it's not a single service per machine type of relationship, but rather it's a one-to-many relationship. So a single collector placed within your Microsoft Azure environment could monitor all of those resources from an OS perspective. If you need that more in-depth monitoring, and the APIs just don't get enough granular data for you. Now, as we collect this data, this is where a lot of the magic happens on the LogicMonitor side. We're able to intelligently examine this information, present it back to you, handle alerting, reporting, things that are more AI focused like forecasting, anomaly detection, and dynamic thresholds to help you break down the data that you're seeing and make it manageable. And kind of on the right side of this screen, workflow integrations. One of the things at LogicMonitor that we say is that we play nice with others. So when you have existing tools in place, maybe something that helps your workflow, your tickets get addressed, whatever it is, we can work with those other systems to help make sure that nothing is getting disrupted and that your IT teams are able to operate more efficiently. Now, as we collect this data, and I won't go too deep into it, there's a few special things that happen in the LogicMonitor platform to make us very, very effective. And our partnership with Pegasus also helps make the monitoring experience for their end users, their end customers, more effective and efficient. Briefly, I'll just show you an example. What that's called is active discovery. Now, all of you who may be on the meeting right now have a different type of infrastructure. You have a different number of virtual machines. Maybe you're using something different for storage. Maybe you're leveraging different PaaS services or IaaS services within your Azure environment, and that's fine. But with that uniqueness, you need the ability to monitor those resources to ensure that they're up and performing. If they fail, what does it do? Well, it costs you money. Downtime is extremely expensive, especially when you're in some sort of cloud environment. Cloud resources that aren't running effectively are just time sinks and money sinks. You need to know that they're working. And so in LogicMonitor, we have what's called active discovery. Active discovery is able to automatically look at the devices that have been deployed within your cloud environments or within your on-prem environments and begin to populate metadata specific to those resources, almost like building a profile for the devices that you are deploying. Now, you don't have to tell LogicMonitor what new devices are being added. Part of this active discovery means that it will regularly look at these environments for any changes, additions, or removals, and then modify the monitoring experience based on what we determine is best for these resources going forward. But the platform is flexible enough to allow you or Pegasus to go in and make modifications as needed. So looking at this as an example, we've got something like an Azure environment. And within our Azure environment, we have a number of services that we're using. Maybe you're leveraging some API management or app gateway, Cosmo DB, of course, VMs, maybe firewalls or IoT hub. All of those services and more are included in LogicMonitor as we begin monitoring those cloud-based environments. So whether it's PaaS that you're focused on, or IaaS, or even in some cases, SaaS-based solutions that are being provided by Microsoft, we can help you look at that data. So in this case, what we have is an example of someone who may be using something like Office 365. Now, Office 365, of course, is no longer managed by you. If there are, I don't know, any architects or domain admins who may be on the call right now, giving up control over that environment can be very difficult. But you know that it's probably the right thing to do in order to save time, money, and effort in managing things. And so many customers are shifting to an Office 365 environment. But you still need to know how that 365 environment is functioning and how you're leveraging it to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Office 365 monitoring is included with LogicMonitor, natively and out of the box. All we need are a set of credentials in order to make sure that this SaaS-based service or others, as an example, we're on RingCentral's Zoom right now. Being able to know that this is functioning means that your remote employees can access the information that they need, can continue to video chat, call, and talk to one another so that their customers and your customers ultimately are being satisfied. Now, just to dive a little bit deeper, when we're looking at things like perhaps VMs that may be deployed within that cloud environment, I'll show you an example of some of the dashboards that we have. All of these that I'm showing you right now, Pegasus can absolutely facilitate the creation of these in your environment because LogicMonitor is a multi-tenanted platform, which means each user, each company, each group can have their own small little corner or piece of it and never have to worry about others. And so anything that you see, we can always move over port/clone into your view. That way you can understand what's going on in the environment. And so we can get very, very deep metrics on the resources that are being deployed across multiple environments, even multiple clouds if you all do decide to maybe leverage something like AWS or GCP in the future. LogicMonitor's got you covered. So taking a look, we can take a look at things like CPU metrics, maybe disk trends, read operations, write operations. These data points can then be expanded so you can see them a little more clearly. And the tool is designed to be fast. No tool is going to be handy or useful if you have to wait forever in order to leverage it. And with LogicMonitor's data retention policies, you have each and every metric that we pull from every resource for up to 2 years with zero aggregation. So you never have to worry about missing a data point. And that's one of the advantages of being a SaaS-based monitoring platform. But when we're examining something like this, we can see lots and lots of traffic or data on this graph. But we can start to zoom in and find the data points that are going to be most interesting to us in a very short period of time. This allows us to help you separate some of the signal from some of the noise and introduce things like more proactive monitoring. As we can see an example up here where we have a server that's already getting ready to go or has gone into alert at 84% of utilization, but one that hasn't quite gotten there yet, knowing that we have 83 more days approximately until we feel like there's going to be a problem. That certainly saves time, effort, and money for the technicians and engineers who are going and trying to troubleshoot things after the fact. The best way to solve a problem is to prevent it from ever happening in the first place. Moving on a little bit to some of the other features about LogicMonitor. Now, some of you who may be on here are probably not the technical lead in the organization. You're not digging down into the speeds and feeds that are coming with disk I/O and how your Kubernetes clusters or AKS clusters are performing. That's not your job. You're focused more on how the business is functioning as a whole. And so in this dashboard, as an example, what we've done is we've taken some of the most important components of an organization and combine them into this multiple system SLA example. We can see average availability. We can see a mapped view to determine where there may be problems that are occurring in the environment. And then we can see in a very simple list format how many errors or warnings or critical errors or critical alerts are occurring on these resources. But at a quick glance at the very top level, we're doing great as far as our financial system, maybe our billing system. Payment processing is getting a little slow, but as far as patient registration, well, we're at 92% uptime. That's not really an acceptable number. As this gets reported back to our directors, our VPs, perhaps even our C-levels in the organization, we need to make sure that we're doing our best to provide at least 3 nines, if not 4 nines at all times. And so even if you're not the person who's going to go in and troubleshoot and fix the problem, you can absolutely leverage dashboards such as this to help you get your high-level view and get the answers from the right people within the organization. To kind of wrap up a bit, I wanted to show another dashboard. And so this one's probably going to be appropriate for some of you who are on here. And it relates to billing. Cloud services cost money. Azure does have a free tier, as does AWS and GCP, where you can leverage some of those services, but likely, if you're on this meeting today, you've exhausted those. And you're relying heavily on your cloud presence to keep the business going. But we want to make sure that our budgets are always in check. We can never afford to have things just run on, and cost tens of thousands to millions of dollars in excess because we weren't paying attention. When leveraging LogicMonitor's billing monitoring capabilities, we can look at your Azure environment or whatever cloud you may have and tell you how much you have spent based on operation, based on region, on tag, on service, give you pie charts to see how this is being broken out. And so if you have certain internal departments within the organization that have a certain amount that should be allocated to their average cloud spend on a per month basis, being able to see and track those metrics can be essential. Because right now we're actually getting ready to come up towards the end of the year, which means it's budgeting season all over again. how much are we going to spend in cloud next year? Probably more than we spent this past year, but you need to be able to understand what that looked like over time. And so leveraging something like LogicMonitor and billing within your cloud environments can help you make those intelligent decisions. I'll flip back over to the architecture slide as I start to wrap up. LogicMonitor is, as I said, a premier infrastructure monitoring solution. And when we're partnering with someone like Pegasus, we're able to leverage LogicMonitor's immense repository with the wonderful relationships that Pegasus has been able to build, and to make sure that Pegasus' end customers are getting exactly what they need from an infrastructure monitoring solution. So thank you guys so much for your time and for listening to me for a few minutes. And now I'll pass it back to the moderator.
Thank you very much, Donnie, and thanks, Ben. Great job, both of you. Again, if you have questions or anything that was covered by LogicMonitor, we do have the Q&A function here at the bottom, so please enter your questions if you have them. So next up, we have Armor, and Armor is the leader in cloud security. Armor also is a great partner of Pegasus. We use Armor when we secure cloud today. With us from Armor is Evan Powell. He's area manager for TOLA, and Evan is going to present the Armor Anywhere solution for us. Evan, you there?
I am. Steve, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we got you. Thanks, Evan.
You bet. Thanks much. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And stand by if our sharing's for some reason is not popping up.
Yeah, not sure there, Evan.
Okay, let's see if you got it now. How's that?
Yep, there we go. Thanks, Evan.
Oh, you bet. Yep. How's that view? It's good?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, perfect.
Just do your, yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, so thanks again, Steve. Sorry that took a while to get up there. So just want to thank Steve, Hannah, and Jeremy, and certainly the Pegasus team. Great to be in good company too with LogicMonitor and talking about this topic, which is really, really important to the industry. As Steve mentioned, I've been with Armor as the area manager for TOLA for 7 years. And I'm going to roll into kind of a presentation on Armor and kind of where we fit in the world and how we address, securing the cloud and not only the tools conversation, but really what we see as the business problem right in the cloud and trying to give you some insight to that. These are really central questions when we're talking to our customer ecosystem. We have about 1,000 plus, I would say, customers globally in 42 countries. And we're having questions with them every day. What does your full environment look like today? What are you doing to secure it, right? Obviously, the business questions around what are the challenges you're trying to solve. Compliance is really huge for us. A lot of our customers are dealing with some pretty significant compliance challenges around PCI, could be GDPR, HIPAA, high trust, right? SOC compliance, privacy. 50 of our 50 states have their own breach notification and privacy laws. We spend a lot of time tracking that and really helping our customers understand what their responsibilities are and really helping them understand do they have the resources and expertise to solve those challenges. And these are really big problems. Also, we're really addressing kind of what are the mid to longer term objectives for your organization and what are the strategies you need to meet those objectives. So certainly as you evaluate cloud tools, these are important conversations to have. And in our view, again, at Armor, this is really a business problem, because these workloads that we have these conversations with customers with in public cloud, they have very defined risk targets and dollar targets and revenue targets. And it's important to really understand these things. In a nutshell, what Armor delivers, we are a platform. We're SaaS-based 100%. So we're threat detection and response. We go beyond just monitoring. We do the incident response component of our offering. Again, I mentioned compliance. A lot of our customers are going through some pretty lengthy and protracted audits. So they really need the compliance elements well cared for. We have a pretty good network into the assessor and auditor ecosystem. They tend to bring us a lot of these projects, and that's, again, our roots, right? We started as an early cloud pioneer where we were our own cloud, and essentially, customers would bring us workloads that people either didn't want to do or knew how to do, because there just was a lot of risk around them. So that's how we built the business, around doing the harder thing. And then we're really focused on protection of mission critical application and data, right? Because these are the lifeblood of a lot of these organizations. These are the workloads they value the most, they spend the most money on, they're really sticky. They tend to be pretty big fights and evaluations. So this is something that's very comfortable for Armor and our team as we kind of go through and talk about these types of business problems and the solutions that we provide. The benefits, cost is huge. Hats off to LogicMonitor, did a nice job of that. I mean, that's a big part of the conversation. People get lured in. I mean, cloud, there are real cost elements around that you need to understand. So the cost model's got to make complete sense. So we spend a lot of time, looking at what's the total cost of ownership. We've got a really good TCO model where we're leveraging our customers' numbers and doing this interactively to really show them the value. It's got to have speed. It can't feel like an implementation, right? It's got to move at the speed of cloud. You got to be able to consume it the way people consume cloud services. You've got to deliver the outcomes, and we spend a lot of time with our customers really understanding what are the security and compliance outcomes that you need to drive for. Tools are one thing, but at the end of the day, where do you guys need to be as an organization, and what are the problems you're trying to solve? And again, compliance. That's a big problem that we need to make sure that our customers are caring for. We have a whole GRC team, right, that interacts with them and helps them kind of navigate their responsibilities there and get through that at a lower friction point. And then, of course, it's got to be a unified visibility, right? They have, no matter where you choose to conduct business and how you scale your business, you have to have visibility, the reporting capability. You have to have that, it's kind of overused in the industry, but that single pane of glass, but you've got to be able to have that capability. And usage-based pricing, right? That's what people want. That's how they're consuming these resources. And then certainly the cloud security expertise. That's why we're really happy to partner with really great companies like Pegasus, because you have to understand the entirety of the cloud journey, right? There's a architecture component, there's a migration component, there's a management component, there's security and compliance requirements, and really being able to understand that and doing that anywhere you choose to conduct business. That's really where Armor fits. I'm going to show you a little bit here, really diving more deep into kind of what we do. If you look at the threat detection, response, and compliance, again, those bullets, again, cost-effective, deploys in minutes. You've got to enhance the security and simplify the compliance, secure hosting for mission-critical and sensitive data. We got to go beyond monitoring. You have to be able, in the event of an incident, what happens next? We have a whole, security operations center here, leveraging a SOAR platform. That's how we automate the business. We actually do the incident response component, and we focus on two key metrics, which is false positive ratios, getting those down to about 2 to 4%, greatly reducing the noise, so we can zero in on what's a true incident, and then dwell time. Dwell time is the time bad guys are inside systems. We're averaging sub 2 days. That's about 80 to 100 days better than the industry average, whose ever math you trust. But we pay careful attention to those two key metrics. Workload security capabilities, host-based IDS, IPS, malware protection. These are the tool sets. What's nice about Armor is we use best of breed. We can make a tool switch faster than our customers can. So if we see a better malware solution, if we see better FIM, better vulnerability scanning, that's all under our contract within our platform, and they certainly can leverage those capabilities around these controls. So that's all part of the offering, all to provide unified visibility. We have our own cloud. At first on the bottom there, you know, was our roots. We did these difficult workloads, and we've got a lot of expertise there. We use the same platform. We eat our own dog food. So we literally have customers that will just bring us workloads and say, hey, I just want you to manage infrastructure up to OS. I run my application. I'm happy. We have a solution for that. Or you can take our platform and literally deploy it onto any public cloud, private, hybrid of your choosing. And you know, I've accentuated here Azure. We have lots of Azure customers, great solutions at Azure. So I'm going to speak a little bit more about how we're doing that specifically. So here's the deployment options, right? Again, on the left, you know, I do have customers that say, hey, I've got workloads. I just want it in your cloud, one throat to choke from infrastructure up to OS. I want to de-risk my business. I just want you to take care of this. And I'm going to run my app and I'm happy. Others say, no, you know, I'm at another public cloud, or I'm at, you know, Azure. You know, we do have a BYOL kind of capability right through the marketplace. It's integrated with Azure Application Gateway and all the Azure NSG Flow logs. All of that cloud native capability is there. The world is large. My customers tend to be in a variety of places, so we can also accommodate hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, or any kind of hybrid approach. They may have workloads where they just want it in my cloud, and there's some very mission critical things at Azure that they need protection. That's no problem. It's the same invoice, same single pane of glass, same account teams. We've got a lot of flexibility and capability there around these difficult workloads. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes here on, this is the real heart of how it works. If you look on the left-hand side here, we have a phrase here at Armor, tools are tools. Some are better than others. You know, we've all seen that slide of dizzying array of 2,000 different security tool choices you can make, from FIM to malware to vulnerability scanning, right? So we, in the platform here, our customers can leverage the entirety of our platform if they choose. I do have some customers where, you know, they don't have FIM or IDS or IPS or any of these kind of host-based controls. That's okay. They can enable that capability through our platform. But another entry point, we may have some customers that say, no, I'm good there. I have all those tools. I just want you to go ahead and ingest my cloud native sources, you know, at Azure. I want to use third-party sources, right? I've got Palo gear. I've got things coming off appliances. Those are ones and zeros and log and telemetry data that, you know, we can give intelligence on. So they may just access this in that capacity, right? And that's the entry point. And then it goes, our Armor agent, right, is kind of our proprietary IP. We can put that literally onto, you know, any instance, host, or VM, right, and do that very quickly. Have a logging component through our log ingestion and data lake. You know, for our compliance purposes, we offer 13-month or longer compliance log management and retention for PCI, HIPAA, HITRUST, whatever compliance is compelling. And then we really start to get into the heart of the value of what we do, which is the threat intelligence. We have about 150 different threat feeds that we feed into our systems, Armor proprietary threat feeds, but the biggest power is really the community insights. You're coming into an ecosystem of 1,000+ customers. What I learned from my largest multi-billion-dollar customer benefits my smallest customer and everything in between. So it's this constant iterative learning process and automation. You know, we run a SIM on behalf, so there's the correlation element, right? We're going to tune that noise down, get that false positive ratio to the 2 to 4%, so it gets nice and quiet. That's on us. And as we all know, SIMs are expensive and noisy and hard to manage and take a big team. And then we're going to leverage a SOAR platform. That's the next step, where this is how we automate and scale the business across 1,000 customers globally. Because you can't just throw bodies at security problems like a classic SOC would, right? So our security orchestration, automation, and response platform then kicks into gear, right? And then from there, we're going to provide 24/7, you know, monitoring, of course, but also the incident response. And then in the event of an incident, that's when we're bringing in our incident warnings analysts, our experts, right? Our threat hunters, all the classic SOC skills you would expect, right? To get that dwell time down to sub 2 days. And for every customer, you know, there's incident context. We're going to have very custom playbooks and orchestration countermeasures. It's a very custom process around each and every one of our customers. And then how do I give you visibility? Well, at the end of the day, our Armor Management Portal, that's where you're going to have that single pane of glass. It is a full Swagger site with all the webhooks and APIs. So again, it's built for cloud. So if you want to take those data points and you want to pull those out and put those into other systems, no problem. All the reporting is also there as well on the dashboard you would expect. We use a chaos search, also Kibana layer. So it's got all the robust capability around dashboard reporting that you would expect. And I'll end on this. Here's the compliance side. Again, we're spending a lot of time and attention with our customers, advising them and helping them navigate these compliance challenges. We check a lot of boxes. We get you through really quick. And so we'll get engaged with our GRC team, with their auditors, their assessors. We'll help them, right, through that process. They can send us security documentation, compliance documentation. We'll attest to our scope of services and document to these controls, as you can see on the left-hand side, and relate those back to these specific areas of compliance. And also importantly, the risk mitigation factor on the right side. That's a big part of what Armor does here. So, we're going to give that high touch, trusted advisor kind of role, through the entirety of this process. And with Pegasus and Armor, we give the customer a turnkey solution because they can help with the architecture, migration, the management experience there of that public cloud, and we can come in and provide the security and compliance responsibilities. So thank you. I'm going to end with that, and there's my number, and it's just a pleasure to be with you, Steve, Hannah, Jeremy. We appreciate the opportunity, and the LogicMonitor people. Just really appreciate the partnership and the opportunity.
Great, great stuff, Evan. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You bet.
So we do have a few questions, and I want to start with some for LogicMonitor here. So Ben and Dodgy, if y'all can hear me? First question is, can I monitor services on individual cloud VMs? And that question's for Ben. Don Diego.
Yeah, sure. I'll take that one if that's okay. So yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, as I was going through the presentation, collectors are a set of services, and so whether we're talking to Windows machines or Linux VMs, LogicMonitor leverages remote monitoring protocols like WMI or maybe PowerShell, SSH in some cases, in order to request data from machines. And so if we were looking at a VM in Azure, we would probably have a collector that lives in that environment as well, and it would make that WMI request of the existing services running. So kind of a wordy answer to yes, but if there is anyone technical on here, hopefully that explains the process.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I got another question for you. Thank you very much. It's another LogicMonitor question. So will you support multiple geographic regions within Azure for a single view?
Yes, absolutely. So whatever region that you've elected to deploy your applications, your IaaS or PaaS-based services, LogicMonitor is happy to look at them across all regions. Additionally, if you have multiple subscriptions of Azure, we can ingest data from all of those subscriptions and combine them into a single viewpoint if you need.
Okay, great. And then one final question for you. Does what you just presented apply to multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environments?
Yep, 100%. So if you are Azure focused or you mix with AWS and GCP, that's okay. We have that same combined monitoring approach of leveraging the APIs of those vendors, and then the ability to deploy collectors that may do more specific requests for things like maybe serverless databases that exist in those environments. So wherever you have been deployed, we can certainly monitor, even if you leverage someone else for a private cloud solution. So in those environments, we can deploy a collector on a single machine. Maybe your private cloud solution lives within VMware, Nutanix. We could monitor that environment as well. So it's really a distributed way of allowing you to monitor your infrastructure with very few limitations that you could encounter.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Don Diego. Appreciate that. And then for Armor, we do have a couple questions as well. So Evan, what should customers be thinking about in terms of their cloud monitoring tools?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Steve. We talk to our customers. A lot of times they get into the tools conversation, and we do think our firm belief here at Armor, it's important to really kind of take the 10,000-foot view and really understand the business problem that they're trying to solve for, right? So that means, they've got to understand what's the desired security and compliance posture that needs to be achieved. And when we talk to customers, sometimes they have that answer, sometimes they need a little help and coaching. And so, tools do very, very specific things. So we're really good at working, and with you guys too, helping them kind of navigate that conversation so that we're designing a very custom approach, right, to what their, security and compliance responsibilities are, and what really needs to be solved and the business problem that needs to be solved.
Excellent. And then one final question for you, Evan. What are customer responsibilities when moving workloads and applications to public clouds?
Yeah, that's a great question because we've all heard it. It's talked about a lot, the shared responsibility model, but it still needs a reminder. We've seen many examples out in the press, right, where companies would go to a public cloud or they get infrastructure someplace, and they're like, hey, I thought it was secure. And the way that works is they're going to attest to the physical security of their data centers. But anything that you put into that cloud, that is your responsibility, and that's where we really have a lot of conversations with customers, is helping them understand the shared cloud responsibility model that essentially states, a customer is responsible, or they're responsible for the security of the cloud, and customers are responsible for securing the data and that they put into that cloud. So it's important to understand the type of deployment, whether that's IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS, right? Customer responsibilities are determined there, and it's going to impact their overall security and compliance and risk mitigation outcomes. And then we get into a lot also, who's at the rudder, who's monitoring, and then beyond that, in the event of an incident, what do you do next? The clock starts running. What's that incident response plan looks like? What kind of partners do you have? How do you quickly resolve that incident? It's really important to have those conversations and relate those back to the aforementioned question around security responsibilities and problems solved.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much, Evan. Okay, so
you bet.
So that concludes everything today. If there's no more questions, just want to thank everyone for attending. Thanks to our two great partners, Armor and LogicMonitor. You guys did an awesome job. Again, if you're looking for ways to manage or secure what you have in the cloud, or looking to migrate to the cloud and trying to figure out how you're going to do all that, we're here to help you. So again, thanks for joining us today. And we got a couple more coming up, so we'd love to have you attend those as well. But looks like I'm going to give you guys about 15 minutes back. So thanks for joining today.